Every hour, nearly a dozen seniors experience a sudden stroke that seems to come out of nowhere, tearing apart lives and devastating families. What if these tragic emergencies are not just random events, but the deadly result of everyday habits? It might sound unbelievable, but the hidden culprits are often lurking right in their morning routines. Many older adults start their day with processed deli meats like ham, salami, or bologna, believing that these quick, tasty slices are harmless or even nutritious. They don't realize that these common foods are riddled with chemical preservatives, nitrates and nitrites designed to extend shelf life and add that appealing pink color, but at a terrible cost. These preservatives might seem insignificant at first, a minor addition to a slice of meat, but their long-term effects are insidious. Over weeks and months, daily consumption of these processed meats causes persistent, low-grade inflammation within the delicate lining of blood vessels. The preservatives and nitrates create oxidative stress inside the arteries, triggering immune responses that keep the blood vessel walls in a constant state of mild irritation. This inflammation weakens the integrity of the arterial lining, making it more prone to tiny leaks and tears that go unnoticed for a long time. It's similar to a small crack forming in a dam structure. Initially harmless, but without intervention, it becomes a catastrophic failure. The damage is slow, silent, and relentless because it often produces no overt symptoms until a blood vessel finally bursts or a clot blocks vital blood flow. Imagine an elderly woman who faithfully starts her day with a couple of slices of processed ham glued together with cheese on a bun, practicing her routine without a second thought. Over several months, her blood vessels become gradually compromised due to the inflammation caused by nitrates. Suddenly, she collapses with a stroke that could have been prevented if she had known that this seemingly harmless breakfast was the start of her internal disaster. These tiny inflammatory leaks, building up silently, set the stage for the real danger: massive clots or hemorrhages that strike with deadly speed. The cumulative damage reaches a point where the slightest agitation or sudden spike in blood pressure, often caused by everyday stress or even coughing, can trigger a life-threatening event. The disturbing truth is that most seniors are completely unaware of the damage taking place inside their arteries because these early warning signs are subtle or nonspecific, making the connection to processed meats difficult to recognize until tragedy occurs. What happened next was even more alarming. I had a patient, a gentle elderly woman in her 70s who always kept to her routine, eating processed deli meats every morning without a second thought. One day, she felt perfectly fine, no warning signs, no headaches, no dizziness. Suddenly, plunged into darkness, she collapsed in her home, clutching her head as if struck by an invisible force. It was a devastating stroke, but what made it chilling was that her brain scan revealed no major arterial blockage that could explain such a sudden event. The truth was that her brain's arteries had been silently deteriorating over months. Tiny internal leaks and micro tears had developed deep inside her cerebral vessels, caused by the chronic inflammation from nitrates and preservatives in her daily diet. What seemed like a minor health issue was actually the result of slow, relentless vascular damage that only reached a crisis point when her brain's delicate arteries finally ruptured or oscillated violently, cutting off critical blood flow. The real danger lay even further ahead. As the inflammation persisted unchecked, these tiny internal inflammations began to accelerate the formation of dangerous plaques along the arterial walls. These plaques, composed of cholesterol, dead cells, and inflammatory debris, grew steadily over time. Because of the ongoing oxidative stress and immune response from the nitrates, the plaques became more unstable, highly prone to sudden rupture. When a plaque ruptures, it unleashes a cascade of events that can produce a massive clot capable of completely occluding the artery within seconds. This is often the moment that leads to catastrophic brain hemorrhages or heart attacks. The frightening aspect is that these blockages can form and become deadly without any preceding symptoms, no warning signs, no pain, just an abrupt catastrophic event that turns a seemingly healthy senior into a tragic statistic. A simple, unnoticed buildup of unhealthy substances causes an unstoppable chain reaction that ends in sudden death. The reality I confronted in my medical practice was even darker. During autopsies, I observed arteries that looked remarkably clean and healthy externally, with no signs of significant narrowing or blockages. Yet inside these vessels, deep inside the arterial walls, I would find a different story altogether. Large, solid clots and ruptured vessel segments lay hidden beneath the surface, undetectable through superficial examination. The internal tears and deep-seated plaques had caused the arteries to weaken and rupture from within, releasing massive clots that traveled swiftly to the brain or heart. The pathology was always the same, an abyss hidden beneath a flawless exterior. These silent, internal blood clots grew silently over months or years, and when they finally broke loose, they unleashed deadly events that often left families devastated with no warning. The only way to prevent this silent killer was to understand that superficial health and outward appearances could be dangerously deceiving, especially in seniors with dietary habits that foster internal inflammation and vascular deterioration. The progression from silent internal damage to sudden, catastrophic events is both terrifying and insidious. Thousands of seniors, seemingly healthy, are walking time bombs. They experience no pain, no warning signs, only a gradual weakening of their arteries caused by persistent inflammation and plaque buildup deep within the vessel walls. Over months or even years, tiny micro-tears and internal hemorrhages called microleaks develop silently in the brain and heart arteries. Because these damages occur beneath the surface, standard medical examinations often fail to detect the impending disaster. When enough damage accumulates, a seemingly minor trigger, a sudden spike in blood pressure from coughing, laughing, or a stressful moment, can set off a rupture or sudden clot formation. The result is abrupt, massive strokes or deadly heart attacks happening without warning, often within seconds. Victims are left stunned, unable to call for help, their bodies succumbing instantly to the internal chaos. The scene is unnervingly similar in cases of sudden death. Autopsies reveal arteries that appear pristine from the outside, with no significant narrowing or blockage visible. Yet inside, they harbor large, solid blood clots and ruptured segments that tore apart from within. These hidden internal ruptures can unleash lethal emboli that travel swiftly to the brain or the heart, causing catastrophic failure in moments when everything seemed fine, moments before. It's as if the damage secretly festers within, the cracks within the dam widening unnoticed until the inevitable flood. Many families have witnessed the devastating aftermath, their loved ones gone in a flash, often with no warning whatsoever. They wonder how such healthy-looking people could suddenly collapse or die. The unsettling answer lies in the everyday habits many seniors repeat without suspicion. Consuming processed deli meats like ham, salami, or bologna every morning becomes the common denominator among these tragedies. These foods, loaded with nitrates and preservatives, quietly foster ongoing vascular inflammation that weakens arteries from the inside out. The relentless internal assault causes micro-tears, plaque instability, and rapid clot formation, setting the stage for sudden, deadly events. Understanding this connection reveals the urgency of making dietary changes before it's too late. Swapping processed meats for fresh, antioxidant-rich foods, such as a plate of colorful vegetables, a handful of blueberries, or a serving of grilled lean chicken, can drastically alter this dangerous trajectory. These foods contain powerful nutrients like vitamin C, vitamin E, flavonoids, and omega-3 fatty acids that strengthen blood vessels, reduce inflammation, and promote healing of damaged arterial walls. Consuming a serving of vegetables or berries at breakfast every morning, ideally within the first 10 minutes after waking up, at room temperature or slightly warmed to around 75 degrees Fahrenheit, ensures maximum absorption of antioxidants. Incorporating a piece of lean poultry or fish for lunch and dinner provides essential amino acids and healthy fats critical for maintaining vessel integrity. The goal is to create a daily routine that replaces destructive habits with protective ones, targeting the root causes of internal damage and preventing the silent progression toward tragedy. Every small change in diet can be a life-saving intervention, turning a potentially deadly cycle into a resilient defense mechanism that supports long-term cardiovascular health.